photos for him or something else like that, so it's hard to say. Looks like Trump has a bump on his forehead, leaving the White House September 1st. The White House is today. I think that there is a chance that Trump...
Also, apparently, they blocked off a road directly from the White House to a hospital, which is another crazy red flag in this conspiracy theory.
Maybe got sick. I mean, he is human. Yes, like people...
He's a 79-year-old man that works 20 hours a day. The fact that he's alive at all is a miracle.
Do get sick, like something like that could happen. When things happen that are uncertain, then I think to myself, oh, maybe there's something that's going on. And irregularity is noteworthy. I hope he's okay. I don't think it's good for anybody if the president dies. I think also if you don't like Trump's policies, you better be ready. You better hope.
Just Dance Vance is gonna kick your ass. You don't understand. This dude is Trump Turbo, okay? He's Trump, but not a boomer. I really think people are underestimating Just Dance Vance.
God, that he doesn't die. Because J.D. Vance is just like Trump, except for he doesn't go on long tangents.
He's also he's more religious. Like, he's literally all the things. He's literally all of the things that the left hates boiled down into one wonderfully pudgy little face.
About how somebody is fat, and I think he's probably going to be more effective than Trump would be.
I do too. I think he's going to be a diabolical president. I really do. And it's going to happen at some point. Hopefully Trump lives out his term, man. I really wish nothing but the best for this old man. Hope life treats him well. Unless he's actually, you know, in the Epstein files, verified with proof that he fucked a kid. In which case, penis guillotine for the orange bastard. But if not direct, straight up evidence of that, with wishing nothing but the best for this lovely old man. So he's supposed to speak. He is now 13 minutes late. Dude, this is getting scary. Now, you have to understand, like, this is what, this is Tim Walz. He was supposed to be the vice president under Kamala Harris. So this is what he's been posting. Obviously, it's copyrighted music. Dude, this is embarrassing as shit. Like, this is the most embarrassing thing ever. So they asked Waltz, like, about his health, and this is what he had to say.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news. You get up in the...
Yeah, dude, gleefully wishing that Trump dies at some point. That's the Democratic Party right now. I hope that makes you feel comfortable. But yeah, anywho, it's absolutely diabolical. I don't even know what to say. These people, like, the gremlins are trying, they're hoping, and they're coping. And then the Orange Man, like, they tried to kill him with everything. All right, he got COVID. All right, when they said COVID was killing everybody, which was a bit of a hoax, but whatever, he got COVID. They tried to kill him a couple of times. All right, here everyone is, like, dude, it's getting creepy. I'll be real. It's getting really creepy out there. And he's still not here. Oh my God. He will be. I'll be back for the actual reaction. Is he alive or is he a skinwalker? Stay tuned to find out and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Trump! He's alive! Trump! He's alive!
Announcement with great friends of mine. I think I can say
Trump!
every one of them. I rate it 10. Great friends of mine. I can't always say that, even if they're Republicans. And these are Republicans, great Republicans. I want to thank you all for being here for this.
I'll be real here, guys. This is just literally with his mind.
7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on.
Not going to pause because we have to watch it live.
And I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama, we love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points.
Yeah, but he did.
I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and
guys, he's
Alabama's getting it. Huntsville in particular, so congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations.
Notice how Vance is looking at him.
This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs, and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and that's billions, because it can't be millions, it's billions and billions of dollars.
That's lots of money.
Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, true, that guy's great.
Secretary of the Air Force, Troy Mink. Troy, thank you very much.
Let's see your hands. Are you operating the puppet strings?
This is such a big deal. This is one that everybody wanted to know. What are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Your grandmother, her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right?
100, and she loved you.
Well, and she was very proud of you.
Vance is not breaking eye contact.
Thank you, Katie.
He's controlling
Must have
him.
been to produce you indirectly. I can tell you she had to be.
Okay, that's
Tommy
the
Tuberville,
worst
who's a
pickup line
great
of all
coach.
time.
And I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend.
Let's leave that out.
But you're not
All right,
not used to
ladies,
it, right? But Tommy, Auburn won, is right. They did. So you're happy. Tommy's been a great senator, as you know, and fantastic guy all around. He was also a tremendous coach.
God, he's a
Armed
legend.
Services Committee Chair Mike Rogers. Thank you, Mike. With Mike.
He even looks like dude, the stunt double is
Doing good,
crazy.
Mike.
Dude,
Representatives
new Hassan
Barry
tweet.
Morrill, great friend,
He did this a
Adderhall,
minute ago.
Gary
Evil
Palmer,
never
and Dale
dies.
Strong. Thank you all.
Well, that's
very
why
much.
you're still alive, motherfucker. Hassan
In my
Piker.
first term,
Unreal.
we created and I created
so disappointed.
a thing called Space Force. So
These
important.
fucking
You know,
losers.
we were losing the race in space very badly to China and to
race.
Russia.
China.
And now we're far and away #1 in space and reestablished Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and
All right.
detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that.
Automatically. I mean, I agree with it that we need is mail-in voting.
Elections because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also.
To be fair,
In Huntsville,
Newsom
Space
just admitted that
Com
he's
will
getting
play a role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big
and bigger.
participant in
See ya.
Missile Defense Shield. We're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to them. Pete, say a few words, please.
All right. Damn, he's alive,
Thank you,
bro.
Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time for the
Dude's
right.
alive. What can you say?
In your first administration,
He is not dead. This is a fact. Unless this was pre-recorded and he actually is dead.
ensure that priority.
Dude, Hassan Piker is seething on his stream right now, by the way.
Independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, in the next administration,
the incest
Biden,
state.
they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time, the DOD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments, and where did they say Spacecom should go? Huntsville, Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There it is. Because, to be honest, there's a lot to do. It's a scary world.
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and restoring Space Command to its
Yeah, I'm not
rightful
logged into
home
Twitch.
in Huntsville, Alabama. This delegation has worked together in both chambers, both parties, to make
It was a
sure
good
Huntsville was the place that Space Command called home.
That's right.
As was mentioned, obviously
way,
the Biden
brother
chose to
and
make
his
this
sister
political. What
that
we
are
want to do
both
is put the safety and security
right.
of
If
our
both
kids
the
first.
dude, if
We want to
both
make
the
sure that
pilots-
our war fighter
If both of the pilots are siblings, all right, and something happens and destroys the planet while you still have, while you have two people in space, we want to make sure that there won't be any moral qualms with repopulating the Earth through like a brother-sister situation, all right? Think about it this way. If you have a brother and a sister on an aircraft, or on a starcraft in space, and the Earth explodes, they would have no issue repopulating the human race. And that is why Alabama is the perfect state.
Expound on that. Now, this move will save the taxpayers $480 million.
Now, this is a good thing for almost everybody, unless you are, of course, a communist socialist motherfucker.
It'll be behind a secure wall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command.
All right.
I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the president for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this, and we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
They're naming it the Donald J. Trump Command Center. Oh, my God. I heard all I needed to hear.
Thank you. I'll be very brief here.
All right,
I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive, and so it's in Alabama. But as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for
Just Dance Vance
space.
has a chip on his shoulder.
I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a visionary move in the first administration for the president to set up Space Force, and I think an equally visionary move to make sure the Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you, sir.
Would you like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise
shoved
kept.
his bowl
You think
cut
about
in
it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The president said when you were the 45th president, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this.
It's kind of funny when you think about it, how little Biden actually cared about national security. Like, I feel like it wasn't even spoken about because, for the most part, like, no one's gonna bomb us. People are gonna fucking bomb us at some point, all right? It's gonna happen. I know that this sounds cringe and you'd rather live in a world where that doesn't happen, but at some point it's gonna happen. And when it does, I would be very happy if America has the Golden Dome, the most powerful space program in the history of the world. So, to be honest, that's a W.
President,
I can't see, his head is too shiny.
Thank you for doing this because it was the right thing to do. When they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go, and like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama, we're very grateful. Thank you, and God bless. Thank you.
Mr. Trump, you look so lifelike. So lifelike in this new body that we just cloned for you.
Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground.
Well,
what we're doing with the space is absolutely critical.
Dude, flat earthers losing their shit right now. Candace Owens is probably so mad because she doesn't think space exists. She thinks the Jews invented space to trick Christians.
Enter that sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
She must be seething. The only person angrier than Hassan Piker right now is Candace Owens.
Alabama was #1, and for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But, Mr. President, thank you for making priorities the defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama. And we're grateful for that.
Here in Alabama, we work with the Jews to develop the weather machines.
Listen, as chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much about what's most important for our national security. And the president held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command. Right. If y'all remember, at the end of that competition, where Alabama came in first, there was a lot of complaints from the other states who did not place well. He said, we'll do it over with new criteria.
The space program fits in Alabama as well as this wig fits on my head.
Second competition. His Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the president named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political, even though...
How is it even a political thing? Like, this is an objectively good thing for America. How the fuck do you turn it political? It's like the idea of saying that we don't need borders on our country. Actual retarded.
Make this right and put it where it rightfully belongs. That's Huntsville, Alabama.
Thank you.
All right, everyone said your shit?
So thank you all very much. You are going to leave me alone now. You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll stop.
Leave me the fuck alone. Let me die in peace. Oh my God, everyone on Twitter.
Big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it.
Based
we
as
didn't do
fuck.
what we did.
Shout out to all the retards that said all the Americans are going to go die in a Jew war in the Middle East. Shout out to those retards.
We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time, and we just these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from a lot of things.
There are 4,000 Marines surrounding Venezuela right now. It's getting really hairy out there.
After this meeting is over, do you have any questions, please?
All right, let's go. Are you alive or are you a ghost?
About the cost savings
with
this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much else there. And having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups
experts
come
decided.
of also it's the best location.
Yeah.
I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama, they are great people, work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud of it.
Okay.
And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot
And he doesn't want
of
to
states,
deal with
5 states really
libtard
wanted it.
judges
They
every
wanted
time.
it more, and I kid you not when I say that these people, they spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location, moving to Alabama, Huntsville in particular. So
Look,
we're
man,
honored to do it. They
he's
really
a
wanted
real
it
estate
badly, and
guy.
they got it. Peter?
Completely different, but about a big viral social media trend that we
Yes! Are you
How did
alive?
you find out over the weekend that you were dead? Did you see that?
No.
What?
1.3 million user engagement
What?
as of Saturday morning about your demise.
There's no way.
You didn't see that?
He didn't notice.
It's sort of, last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well.
Bro.
And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months.
43
see
days
him.
is the Biden record.
And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, and I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own, pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually.
Bro, the AI
that's pretty serious stuff.
Dude, like,
Well, it's fake news. You know, it's just so.
it's fake news. We know, bro.
The media has so.
Trump had to debunk.
I knew they were saying, "Is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong?" I said,
This is cinema, dude.
And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend, so I would say a lot of people. No, I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent. Go ahead, Peter.
We know that this country has a huge problem with
That's
school shootings.
cinema, dude.
You've said that you're open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
Well, we have a big problem with school
Yeah,
shootings.
there's an issue.
But we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors, you can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if
Assad
one of
didn't
these
like
lunatics
this.
happens to get
What is this
through,
projection?
then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for
Inbred
keys all over the
retard.
place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too.
True.
And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry, that's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. Have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, but I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just We've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on. Something going on, and it's a bad thing. Yeah, I don't. I have learned things that will be very interesting, I think, in the next few days.
Oh shit! All right. Oh my.
If there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky, and what could those consequences be?
We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week they lost 7,000 between the two countries. 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact, for no reason whatsoever. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, they're soldiers. I want to see it end. Yep.
Have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
Base, do it. Do it.
So when the answer is
yes, do it.
We don't need help. We're safe. 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit, and 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days,
horrible.
that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and
the worst.
Ganscom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with. They should have had the water coming down, like I said. We had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to LA. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that, and
No
even the
lies
sheriff, the top law enforcement person
correct.
in Los Angeles said,
They could not have blame Trump for a reason.
So that's what he said.
It's true.
On Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in.
Yeah, the Chicago video. I
This isn't a
decided.
political
I
thing.
decided it's happening.
I have an obligation. When 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks, and 75 are shot.
It's
with
not
bullets.
right, dude. It's insane.
So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it.
Obviously.
Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe
crime-riddled,
city.
and now it's safe.
riddle-
Almost like arresting
booming.
people
You
works,
can't get a
guys.
restaurant. New
All
restaurants
they
are going
need to do is
be open.
arrest people and
12
children,
days. Now it's 15
hormones,
days,
and everything
3
works.
days ago, it became what's known as a safe
Utopia.
zone, as a safe city. And this city was really bad. Really, really
That's
bad.
right.
We took 1,600 people
I
out.
agree.
Hardcore criminals that will not be coming back.
Based.
anytime
Jail
soon.
forever.
And
fucking Democrats.
Kins can't lose every week. It was like many years where every single week somebody was killed. For many,
fucking crazy.
many
Were just shot in
weeks. This
Chicago.
went on for years.
50 over the last weekend.
And then we had last week. It was announced that nobody was killed last week.
It's
And
a
I made
weird
that
thing to
announcement
say.
in front of a very distinguished
sounds
leader
bad.
of the country.
It sounds
And
bad.
I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at
And
me
he
like,
is that a good, why are we
Was
proud
that-
of this?
what's
That's
that all
weird.
about? I
And
said,
he's
yeah,
like,
we
well,
have a
for
bit
us,
of a
it's
crime
actually a
problem.
very big deal.
And we don't have a crime problem in Washington
retards
anymore.
are
And the
like,
mayor's been very helpful, and the police commissioner has been very helpful, and it's been a great team. And
That's
I would love
fascism,
to have,
guys.
Governor Pritzker call me.
Oh.
I'd gain respect for him.
That's
No
very
problem.
fat.
And we'd love you to send in the troops because you know what?
Do it.
The people, they have to be protected.
I don't need
saw
your
today
troops.
on
Walks
one
outside
of
and
your
gets murdered on the
networks, not a
sidewalk.
friendly one.
Miss me with that fascism.
The
Walks outside, gets
very
murdered on the
unfriendly.
sidewalk.
And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, who were black, and they were saying, "Please let the president send in." These were people
Dude,
from
every
Chicago.
normal person wants
Please,
peace.
we need help.
It's only the
Help.
criminals
We
and
can't
the
walk
Democrats.
outside. We're petrified.
Yeah.
If the governor of
He was
Illinois
African American
would call
and
up,
black. I've seen
call
it
me up,
myself.
I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country.
Yes,
And that
that's
includes
right.
Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was
He's also
asking
fat.
me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe
Yeah, don't go there, Mr.
place.
President.
It's
They're
rated
gonna kill
number
you.
4 in the city. One of the worst, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world.
Every criminal,
But
every
you know,
drug
beautiful
dealer.
thing that happened in
Jail!
Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court
African American,
that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically
True.
fit.
Male, has a
somebody, you know,
penis.
having a certain ability.
Those are
not a person
normally
that
good-
is
good features
woke
and attributes.
and got the job through woke, but
I
wasn't
get
strong
the
enough.
dollars.
Police, as you know, last week I
Goddamn.
went over. We had a meeting with there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And I see them; they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly
No
going to be.
more
I
gay
would love
police.
to have.
No
one
more
call.
gays.
I would love the governor of Illinois, honored to
Dude.
take his call. All he has to do is say, "Sir, we need help. It's out of control," and everyone knows it is.
See, the
He's not
problem is
kidding
he's
anyone.
fat, so he obviously is
I
not
would
good
love
at
to have. I would
life.
say Governor Moore call because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need
Yeah.
housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took
African American,
many people
black.
of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not
True,
going to
jail.
be good.
Jail!
In 10 years,
Easy,
in 20 years,
jail!
in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They're going to be. They were born to be criminals.
Damn, he's gonna
Right.
get cooked
They
for
were
that.
born to be criminals.
Oh, he's gonna
And
get
they're
fucking
tough
flamed for this
and
on
mean,
Twitter.
And they'll cut your
Born
throat,
to be
and they
criminals.
won't
What are
even
you
think
saying,
about it the
Mr.
next
President?
day. They won't even remember that they did it.
Are you fatigued,
And we're
Mr.
not gonna have
President?
those people. Washington, D.C.
Uh-oh.
is now a safe zone. It's a safe place, and you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything
black.
when they have guns and when they have
True,
knives
the
and
great
everything else that they
equalizer.
have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am, please.
Damn. Yeah, no, you saved it.
Leaders across the
Go.
country to work with you on crime. You see your efforts here in D.C., including, for example, working with Mayor Bowser here as a model to bring more bipartisanship in matters not only with crime but also issues that matter to everyday American people's lives.
So Mayor Bowser's been great. She could have taken the thing.
She could have been better. She went all in all, not bad. For a woman, talks a lot though.
We cleaned up Los Angeles. Great at that. And it was overwhelming what was going on.
African American,
Again, the police chief
black.
made a statement that
Can't believe
we
he
could
said
not
that.
have done. There's no way they could handle. You saw what was happening out there. It was going to be a disaster. We stopped it.
He's right.
If we didn't do that, it would have been a very sad day. And you know, remember, we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, we have all these things coming, and we have 250.
We can't bring people
All
in
these
with
things-
crime.
But I watched Newsom get up and say he's doing a great. He's not. We're the ones that
Newsom's
did it. And
doing
that's
nothing.
whatever it takes.
That
But
dude's a
I
fraud.
think it was weird. But he got up
He's
and
gonna
said,
run
"We did it."
against Vance in 2028, and he's
want
gonna
us
get
there.
obliterated.
And he's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again. You know, we have to maintain. It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So it's an honor to do it. It's a lot of presidents wouldn't do what I'm doing. I don't need this heat, but when I
Honestly,
watched
he's right.
television last night and I'm watching the news and I see that 9 people were killed in Chicago and 54 were
Shot.
badly wounded.
That's
with
fucking
bullets.
crazy. That's insane.
I say, That's not this country. We have to do something.
He's right.
And I do say this.
Yeah,
I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody
and they
but
call
them
him
right
a fascist
now.
for this.
I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. You know, Pete will
Honestly,
tell you
they're
that
pussy.
when I was running for office, and this was a big headline, I think, probably got me a couple of votes. But you couldn't sign people in the military. Nobody wanted to join the military.
True.
The Army, Air Force, the Navy,
True.
Marines,
No one
Space,
wanted
Coast Guard. We never forget Coast Guard.
Because it became.
Never.
It was
But
bad cat
nobody
boys
wanted to
in the
join any of
military.
them. We were way below what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines, whatever that is. You'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country's the hottest country anywhere in the world right
That's what
now.
they said to me.
They're talking about the USA.
Everyone's saying.
They're talking about the job that we're doing.
I didn't say it.
Everybody
They
with the
said
best
it.
economy.
I
We have a
said it.
very, very important decision being made by the Supreme Court because our country is the richest, the strongest, the most powerful. But if for some reason some liberal court, I'm talking about the court that just ruled, where even an Obama judge voted in favor of us, which I gave him a comment yesterday, as you know. I said that took great courage. But it's a liberal court, and it's going up to the Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs. And if for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing so well.
The hottest country, some even say.
We had a liberal court gave us a very shocking ruling, and that ruling is basically saying that the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like to see us that taken away. By the way,
Yeah, they're
a lot of
retarded.
the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries. I might add.
There is a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody has thrown a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated. Actually, you can't.
He had that on the tip of his tongue.
Heavily armored and bulletproof.
Yeah, it's probably AI. Anyway, next question.
Because I know every window up there. The last place
I've
I'd
seen
be
all
going
the
is that
windows.
because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window.
Bro, whip
I've
it
never
out
seen
in
a
an
window.
in.
In fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, "Love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof." And
Bro, Mr. President
number one,
answering
this.
questions like this
Number
right
two.
now.
Each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be. Where was the window? Let me see.
That's AI. That's a fraud. Fraud. I tell you it's fraud.
Which is the window?
I know fraud when I see it.
It's on the 15th Street side, I think. So right here.
Yeah, those windows are sealed. Those windows are all they're all
Debunked
sealed.
by
You
the
can't-
Orange Man.
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI.
Mr. President, look
But
at
also
this
they
AI
communicate.
version of you
Works
as
both
a baby
ways.
talking.
If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI.
You just
But
did.
because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up from the time I was a baby.
I just said that! I cannot believe this!
It was AI.
I am sharing
generated.
one
So
brain cell
It's a
with
little bit
this guy.
scary, to be honest with you.
Oh my lord.
But those windows
This is
heavily
live,
sealed.
no pre-watch.
To follow up with what you were saying regarding the federal appellate court that ruled against you and the administration as it relates to your ability.
Well, they ruled against our country, the court, and they ruled against us before. It's a very liberal court.
in your
Well, it
social
certainly
media
is. It certainly
and
is.
it was along ideological lines, 7-4.
Well, except that we actually got one of the Obama judges that was appointed by President Obama voted in favor of the tariffs because he felt it was imperative
it's
for our
objectively
country
good.
to thrive
Yeah,
and
crazy.
survive even. And I gave him credit. I said,
I
"That took a lot
mean,
of
JD
achievement."
and bald.
I imagine.
I don't know where it came from, but he's fat and bald. I don't know.
Well, we already have. Yeah.
Looks
In
like
fact, we're doing
JD.
something else. We're going to be going to the Supreme Court, we think tomorrow, because we need an early decision. I mean, look, the financial fabric of our country, we're a rich, incredible country right now, and we're able to, you know, other countries use tariffs on us for years.
Every country
and
used
we
tariffs
never
on us.
did. Jenny, I did a
Pretty
lot
weird.
during my first term, but then we had COVID, and we had to
weird.
focus on other things. You couldn't be tariffing Italy, Spain, France, as they were dying by the thousands and millions. But we did with China, and China paid us billions and billions of dollars. And I started the process, but then I had to end it a little bit because of COVID. We focused on that. But no, it's a very important decision. And frankly, if they make the wrong decision, it will be a devastation for our country. We've taken in trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
And by the way, all these countries signed agreements, as an example. They're all happy. Everybody's happy. But some whack job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled. It was 11. They ruled 7-4, with one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling because,
All right, well, let's see.
you know, when you
Dude,
look at
way
the stock
too
market's
much
down
time
today,
gets
the stock
wasted.
market's down because of that.
Like, so much
Because it
decent
needs
just waiting for
tariffs,
the
they want
judges to
tariffs.
fucking put their pants on.
If you look at AI, all of those, you know, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, I suspect. It's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs. We're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance
Well, they
because we
wouldn't
wouldn't
work in
be able to
America.
protect those
They'd
investments.
work in
of
cheaper
the
countries.
companies coming in. So
He's not wrong.
if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
We would literally.
As a backstop to that, President, you have a Republican-controlled Congress. You control the House. You control the Senate.
Yeah, but we don't have 60 votes. We don't have 60 votes.
You
I'd love to do
get
that.
enough
Oh,
votes.
if we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them.
Gerrymander all the
60
states.
votes, and we need
All of them.
a certain number in the House. We'd get, I think we'd get, I don't know, we have about 5 of them here. Would everybody agree with me on tariffs? Without tariffs, we're a different country.
did not
we
wait
have
for a
taken
response.
in so much money. And here's the thing.
What's the argument against it? Oh,
We
easy.
signed a
Trump
deal
bad.
with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal
I have
with South
some
Korea.
guy
We
in my
signed
team,
with
but the
European Union.
pollution.
We signed a deal.
No, not the pollution.
Europe.
Go
And
look at
those
pollution that
countries
comes
are
out of
paying
China
us
and tell me if America's
$950 billion.
pollution.
And they're happy about it. They're okay.
No,
As one of them said,
pollution,
it's
though.
amazing that we got away with it so long. One of my friends, a leader of one of the countries, and they're fine with it. They all signed. If that ruling ever went against us, I guess we'd have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back.
Infinite money.
that have been worse off for
Stupid.
the
You're
last
retarded. You
35
hate
years.
America.
And I can't imagine it happening on a legal
will buy you a
basis. They
one-way
have no
ticket.
interest in it. But on a common sense basis, it would destroy America.
On Sunday, the satellite signal of Ursula von der Leyen's plane was
Ursula? Well, she had an interesting. She's
Ursula is the worst
tremendous
name in
woman.
all of English.
And so, what are you asking me about her?
If you name your kid Ursula, you are a psychopath.
NATO is concerned. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. You know? Sometimes that's a good thing.
All right, let's see what Hassan is up to.
Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Let's check it out.
Tariffs on India from 50%.
What does that mean?
Are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India?
Oh.
No, we get along with India very well, but India has, you have to understand, for many years
Right.
it was a one-sided relationship. Only now since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. And we therefore weren't doing much business with India, but they were doing business with us because we weren't charging them foolishly. We weren't charging them. So they would send in massive, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country, and therefore it wouldn't be made here, which was a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, I'll give you an example, Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle.
I mean, to be fair,
So what
they're
happened
pretty bad
is Harley
drivers over
Davidson
there.
went to India.
Like, you
and
give
built-
Harley Davidson, you fuck up the entire
and now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing as us.
Oh,
So what we're doing
God.
is Literally thousands of companies are coming into the U.S., car companies, AI, but, more traditionally, car companies. We have so many car company factories under construction or being designed right now. And they're coming from China, coming from Mexico.
I've explained this before, but it's because of tariffs.
From Canada, but they're coming into our country because they want to build here.
He's right.
And they want to build here for two reasons. One, they like here, and number two,
the
tariffs are protecting them. And number three, they want to avoid paying tariffs. When they build their cars here, they don't have any tariffs. When you build here, you don't have any tariffs.
Correct.
Mr. President, in light of the administrative shooting last week, the Department of Homeland Security is now awarding more than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security. What's your vision for further protecting religious liberty across the country amid incidents of threats and
So religious liberty is so important, and we're talking about every religion now. And we're doing things on that nobody else has ever done. And we're going to be having a big announcement in about 2 weeks on that question. Please.
Sir,
for those of you that don't know,
that people may not be willing to relocate from Colorado to Alabama?
No, I'm not worried. It will get somebody else. I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system.
Yeah.
I have so many friends in Colorado. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt elections. Very simple. It's very simple. Even Jimmy Carter said it with his commission. They set up a commission with him and Scoop Jackson and some people, highly regarded people. And they said the one thing, the finding was, if you have mail-in voting, you will have corrupt elections. Well,
it's true. He's right.
Radical left governor decided that he was going to have all mail-in voting in Colorado. Once you have all
because they're trying to
mail-in
cheat.
voting, and for whatever reason,
absolutely they're trying to cheat.
Democrats
they want
cheat.
illegal immigrants to vote for them. They cheat like dogs.
That's the only thing. They're no good on policy. They're no good on management. They're no good at government. But they're great at cheating, and they stick together too. I give them credit for sticking together. Please.
Obviously, this is a big win for national security. Moving to Alabama, we've all agreed with that. Is there any idea of economic impact it has on the state and on that local area?
Katie, do you want to answer that?
Well, I mean, this is going to be tremendous. I mean, the state of Alabama, what we've seen through this process.
Yeah, I don't actually care. But what I was going to say was that this faith decision that they decided on, by the way, to add guards to schools that are religious schools, I think it's super important. Because CNN tried to make believe that there was no ideological motivation to that train killer guy that killed a couple of kids in a Christian school. They tried to say that there is no discernible motive. It's obviously just a mentally ill person. And it's fucking horse shit. Of course it was motivated. When the media and people like Hassan Piker are constantly going to be demonizing religious people or right-wing people, yes, they are causing radicals to actually do this shit. So I think that it's super important to bolster security around religious institutions, because religious institutions get the most threats these days. I think Jewish schools, Christian schools, the amount of threats and violence that happens in these areas is fucking insane. And honestly, it's because the radical left is a terrorist organization, in my opinion.
Recently, you pushed out a statement about addressing an emergency housing situation.
That's right. We're thinking about doing that. Well, we need a little help from the Fed. We have a man named Jerome Too Late Powell. You probably heard of him. He's too late. Way too late. And the economy is so strong that it's pushing through that. Normally, it would have been much tougher, but we're doing so well that we're pushing through it. But it makes it very hard for people to get mortgages because too late is too late. Very simple. It's too late. And probably political, whatever. He wasn't too late before the election. Before the election, he was cutting rates, right? Because he was hoping that, I guess, Biden would get in or that Kamala would. He was a big Biden guy. Yeah. Explain that one. And then he was a Kamala person, but he was hoping, I guess, she'd win, I guess. I don't know. It didn't work out too well. But, yeah, we need a very serious cut. I think that if you look back many decades ago, the United States was always the lowest, even if they were doing badly. The United States was, because without the United States, everything in the world would die. It's true. It's so powerful. And I made it really big in the first 4 years. Then it started to degenerate with what this Biden administration did, but we've built it up to a level that I never thought we could be at this quickly. We're the hottest, we're the best financially. The money coming in is so big because of tariffs and other things, but because of tariffs. Tariff gets us even those other things. Plus, it gets us great negotiating. I settled 7 wars.
Spend it all in one place.
Numerous of those wars were because of trade. And numerous of the trade deals that I made were because of tariffs. Gives you a great negotiating ability. If that ability were taken away from us by a liberal court acting on essentially foreign nations asking
I'd say it's
to get help
honor
from the United States, when they've been doing this to us for 40 years, that's why we have $38 trillion in debt. We won't have it for long if they let us, if they allow us to do what everybody knows we should be able to do. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, another Biden-era action that you're now reversing is that you signed a deal last week to make federal buildings adopt and embrace classical architecture styles again.
Damn!
Can you talk about why you do that, and also what's your vision?
Well, we want to see. Now, it's in the eye of the beholder. I've seen architectural reviews over the years. I'm an expert at it. I've gotten a lot of great reviews. But I've seen buildings that I didn't think were very good get great reviews, and I've seen great buildings get bad reviews. But it's just a standard. We want to have a good standard. We're building something here, for 150 years they wanted a ballroom at the White House. We're doing something at the highest level using great architects and all. And, it's very exciting. But we have a lot of interesting things happening architecturally in D.C. And D.C.'s like a different place. And, even the contractor said,
gold.
Sir, we walk down today, we feel like much safer. It's like a different place. Washington, D.C. is great. Now, we're going to also beautify it. We're going to put a topping on the roads. We're not going to rip them apart and take 4 years to build a road that was exactly the same by the time you build it.
D.C. is great
we're going to
again.
put
You got
toppings,
49 more
put new
states,
medians
brothers.
in. We're going to get the graffiti
Let's
off. We're
go.
going to put tiles up in the tunnels where the tiles are missing. Or we'll do the whole tunnel instead of, a little area where you see
Gold roads.
new tiles, old tiles that never look too good. But they could use it. They've been up 50 years. They've served their duty. But we're going to make this within about a 20-mile radius from the White House. We're going to have this place spick and span. It's going to be
That's the
spick
sir,
span. It's
Mr.
going to be.
President.
You'll be proud of Washington
No,
again.
you're not allowed to say that.
China's having a massive military parade that President Putin.
Speaking of, it's time to deport every illegal.
As a challenge to this, and are you concerned at all about those countries?
There will be more space for people to live.
Not at all. China
if you
needs
deport
us.
the illegals.
I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know. But China needs us much more than we need them.
Yeah.
No, I don't see that at all, no.
We need the poo.
And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't, we'll take a different stance.
The March today in California ruled that the deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles was illegal.
Yeah, they're
Do you have any
retarded.
response?
Well, it was a radical left judge. But very importantly, what did you not tell me in that question or statement that you made pretty much of a statement, I think?
Well, I was asking for the response.
No, you didn't say what the judge said, though. The judge said, but you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can continue to be in place. That's all we need. But why didn't you put that as part of your statement? Because the same judge ruled exactly as you said, except the judge said that you could leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can stay, they can remain, they can do what they have to do. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Right,
Thank you very much.
Bro yapped. It's official. That was 48 yapping. Guys, votes are in. I'm not sure if he's alive or not, but I am leaning towards he is AI. That is my personal feeling. I think this was all AI. It was a masterful gambit, Mr. President. Vance is in control, all right, and AI Trump is doing what he can, all right? I wonder if they recorded enough Trump. This is the question. Do they have 3 more years of pre-recorded Trump? This is what we have to know. Or is it Biden in a wig? Is it actually Shane Gillis up there? No one knows. Definitely subscribe. Definitely subscribe, and we will get to the bottom of this mystery. But all I know is the worst people in America are really sad right now. And this makes me happy. It brings solace to my heart to know that all of the worst people, all the worst people in America, had a really bad day. So subscribe, and we will be talking about more retards in the next one. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fan.
and it's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's start in the UK, where a man in a red dress defaces a war memorial as crowds look on. No one tries to stop him, no one says a word. This is what civilizational decline looks like.
Incentivizes you to go to work if you need to make money, right? That's out of scarcity, but it doesn't incentivize you to take a risk for your life and build something or innovate or develop or anything like that. Why would you ever do any of that? That's bullshit.
Pushes them to work harder. I disagree with that. I'd say that some of our hardest workers are single moms working 3 to 4 jobs.
What? Okay, not all hard work is created equal, all right? Like, come on, dude, what are we doing?
And the resources that they're able to acquire compared to those that utilize their workers in order to build profit for their own companies is not equivocal.
This is such a, like, gay tap dancing monkey kind of philosophy. It's like, more money should go to people that work harder, even if their work is not necessarily work that makes a profit, because, you know, they're working hard. So we need to reward them. This is some fucking bullshit entitlement, bullshit philosophy. I said bullshit twice in that phrase, not due to lack of words that I could come up with, but due to the double amount of bullshit that I just heard. I'm sorry. That's insane. And the fact that we all need to go around and make believe like this is a valid point, like, dude, stop being such an entitled prick, okay? Every time someone gives you something for free, you say thank you so much, you didn't have to do that.
So how would you do it? How would you change it?
Yeah, so I think that humans inherently want to be meaningful. They want to contribute to their communities. They want to...
Humans inherently want to be meaningful, says the libtard as he votes to pass abortion bills where they kill 1 million babies a year.
Contribute to society. When you look at depression rates, oftentimes it's people who aren't able to do anything besides laying in their bed and basically barely taking care of themselves. So I think that it's just a human intrinsic value to want to bring value to their community or grant.
So look, man, whenever we go down this rabbit hole, it's like, listen, it's just intrinsic human nature and things. It's just, you know, intrinsic human nature to want to do good and stuff, which is why, communism killed hundreds of millions of people. It's just the intrinsic goodness of the fucking retards that killed millions.
Grander society. Okay, so I don't think that it has to be through scarcity alone that scares people into working, if that makes sense.
I worked for scarcity. I think there's levels to it. You have the survival folks who work for survival to pay their bills.
That's scarcity.
Some work for status, some work for freedom, and some work for legacy. The folks that work 3 or 5 jobs, you know, to pay their bills and do what they're doing, if the incentive wasn't there, they wouldn't work 3 to 5 jobs. Some of the guys that build a bigger business that solve a lot of problems.
The incentive there is either I die or I work. That's not really a system that rewards merit. That's a system that pushes people into insecure positions.
Not necessarily. In many cases, we put ourselves in situations as well. But when an incentive,
are you saying that it's an individual failure for these single mothers that are working 3 to 4 jobs?
For some of them,
look, man, there's many parts to things. Okay, obviously not every situation is created equal. So I could say something that could apply to a large portion of single mothers, but not all of them. But in an ideal world, there would not be so many single mothers. Don't you think that the fucking, hedonism crisis in America is causing just this mass uprising of single mothers? Isn't this like a big fucking problem? I don't know. In my opinion, it absolutely is. I think if you would have a nuclear family, if you wouldn't have the feminism movement in general, which is like, I mean, the left does support like the fucking modern feminist bullshit. I know that Patrick Bet-David, there's no way he's going down this path. But you see, a single mother raising a bunch of kids is not an ideal situation already. They have already fucked up. Now, I'm not saying that it's always their fault. Sometimes the husband is evil and should be dealt with. Sometimes the husband dies. There are infinite scenarios, but this is not an ideal situation. It's fucking sad already.
It is.
Interesting.
For some of them, it is.
I'm glad you bite that bullet, because most people are not going to say that it's a moral failure of people that are born into poverty that continue to live in poverty.
For somebody like me, I came from the single mother system. My mother was a single mother. You know, we had, my parents got a divorce.
Dude, Jubilee picked the right rich guy to defend capitalism. They picked a guy that literally was not born into it. Based as fuck. I don't know. I told you, I just messaged him and he replied. He's a super nice guy from what I understand. I don't know him super well, but he seems like a really good dude.
twice. They married each other, they divorced, they remarried each other, divorced again. I came up, we didn't have a lot of choices. I joined the Army, I got at that system, kind of wanted to see what I was going to do for myself. Do I stay in the Army? Do I get out of the Army? I started working in sales. And then the incentive of working harder, eventually I built a good life for myself.
You're totally dismissing the hard work that a lot of these people are putting into for just basic survival.
Dude, life's not fair. Life is hard, okay? Again, I'm not this isn't an idea of dismissing people that aren't making it. Obviously, there's a million situations in the universe that fucking suck. One of them is getting your legs blown off in the military, and the other one is your husband kills himself and you're a single mom and you're broke as shit. There are many instances that suck, all right? When a kid gets cancer, it's really sad too. Now, because of individual, personal, tragic situations, does that mean that you need to fucking rewrite the world so that you could literally have these blood-sucking leeches in society? And I'm not saying there shouldn't be charity. I am a big fan of charity. I personally donate 20% of all of my income to charity. That is my personal thing. I don't talk about it a lot because it's not really your business. But personally, I do that. And I don't like go through organizations and shit. I give it to like poor families for the most part. And realistically, in a good world, everyone would do that. You know, in a good world, the local community, the local church, the local synagogue, you know, would actually help out. And I think that is a really good thing. And also, there are checks and balances in society, despite the fact that I'm sure that this dude wants some communist utopia. There are checks and balances in society that do supply single mothers with things like rent and food stamps, etc., etc. So I'm not exactly sure what is being got at here. In my opinion, personally, humbly, America is the best country in the world if you actually want to make money. Unfortunately, the schools teach you all the ways not to make money. I bet you never fucking heard about the stock market before you left high school. And that's a crime. It's evil. It really is. I'm telling you this right now, okay? Just from me to you. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. If you would put in every single month, I don't know what your living expenses look like, but if you had an extra $300 to spare a month, and you know what? You did a little less takeout, a little less DoorDash, and you put $300 a month in the stock market. So here's just your hypothetical. Okay, if I were to put in $300 every month into the S&P 500 for 30 years, this is how much it would end up. It would end up being $353,000. All right, that is a profit of around $250,000 on a $100,000 investment. That is $300 a year for 30 years, and $300. Most people could afford it. I know that it's a rough market out there, but if you do this, it could change your fucking life. All right, this is just a random example. I'm not telling you how to invest your money. Obviously, it's none of my business. Not a financial advisor. Yada yada. But this is a system that could work. It really could.
I'd say that mechanics and plumbers and most people working blue-collar jobs that are probably watching this video are working tirelessly day after day. But yet they still feel insecure positions to where they don't even know if they're going to be able to afford rent in the next 6 months.
Well, to be honest, that depends on a lot of factors. Plumbers and, you know, a lot of plumbers make really good money, first of all. I know personally some plumbers that make, you know, upward of $150,000 a year. You know, plumbers could make very, very good money. Obviously, especially if you expand, if you take employees, if you expand your business, you know, etc., etc. There's many things you can do. And if you're investing on the side, right? If you're making $100,000 a year, which is a very decent salary, a very good fucking salary, if you're making $100K a year, you don't need to spend all $100K. If you put 50,000 of those dollars in the stock market, you'll end up with millions, probably upward of 10 million in 20 years if you just let it increase there. Like, you don't understand how good the fucking market is in America. And it's because no one teaches you about it.
Let me ask you, if most Americans have a $400 to $500 emergency, they can't even afford that with the basic savings that they have. So this is not something that we should celebrate as promises of a system that gives you more if you work harder. We should say that this is something.
Well, it's not just about working harder. It's about working smarter too. All right, listen, man. If you have zero ambition and zero drive, and you don't try to do anything, and you had terrible mentors all your life, and you had a system that was designed to make you feel like a victim, that you only get up off your ass for honestly, for when you literally need the paycheck, you'll take a job at McDonald's. Yeah, you're right. That shit sucks. It really does. But there are opportunities out there. I know that it's a difficult market. I know it's not easy, but the solution isn't crying about it in your mom's basement. The solution is working your fucking ass off while you're in your mom's basement because no one can afford rent, because fuck you, boomers.
Something that rewards few, and I'm glad that you're an outlier that's been able to build a lot of success for yourself. I know that you're a multimillionaire. That's fantastic that you have those resources. That cannot happen for everybody in society. It's possible for each individual to do it, but not everybody can be. That's guaranteed.
I don't think not everybody can be a billionaire or a millionaire, but I do think people can find ways to use their time to effectively increase their market value, and I don't think many people do that. When I talk to people and they tell me I've watched it,
dude, you could do so much. There is so much out there. A lot of people really feel like there isn't, and there really is. It's not easy, and it's a lot of work. But dude, if you're raised right, you'll do that shit. Like, these are people without father figures that go on this show that have been fucked by the system and taught that they're victims of an unfair capitalist society. Dude, it is not only a better system, but it is a more moral system. Socialism is when two people vote that they could take your shit, and then they rob you blind.
This show, I watch every one of these shows. I watch every one of these Netflix shows. You can use that time to increase your market value instead of kind of, focus on what's going on with the stories and shows that are out.
Okay, so the first one here was a productive conversation between the two. But if I were Patrick...
it was a good discussion. I don't think that guy was like a complete retard, to be fair. I think that guy was actually pretty well spoken. I just think it's a really sad victim mentality shit where you really feel like people can't pull themselves up and actually make something of themselves. It's so fucking sad. We are living in the land of opportunity. Thank God.
David, I probably would have started with a little bit of common ground. The misconception is that capitalists are all just greedy, selfish people, and they don't care about the little guy. They just...
Yeah, that's the misconception, because that's literally what's pushed in college campuses. That capitalism is evil, and landlords are all bad, and all everything is evil, and... It's so fucking bullshit. It really is.
Get to the top of the hill and then pull the ladder up after them. But that's not necessarily true. These people aren't blind.
Okay, another thing that's important to note is most of the jobs being made in the country are made by billionaires, right? Yeah, Walmart has how many employees? How many millions of employees does Walmart have? Like, the jobs are made by the billionaires. Right? Starbucks is worth billions. You know how many people work at Starbucks in America? Like, it's such a stupid concept. It really is.
Blind to the issues, and they also want a good society, not only for themselves, but for their families and future generations. So it may have been helpful to acknowledge the problem. I mean, wages have stagnated, costs are rising, wealth inequity is widening, housing is unaffordable, and debt burdens are crushing ordinary families. You could also find mutual ground in critiquing the corporate...
And there's so much. There's so much. Like, I guess this is just a 1-minute debate that he's having with the guy. I wouldn't, you can't necessarily complain about the entire system being faulty. I could give you a list of things. You're gonna go into fucking debt for a college degree in underwater lesbian tap dancing? Are you retarded? What are you doing?
Elites point out how monopolies and financial institutions, the too big to fail banks, the big tech cartels and lobbying groups manipulate the system in ways that hurt workers and small businesses. But when you look at these issues, socialism is not the answer. And I think that on this side, we have much, much better solutions than giving it all over to the government, centralizing all of the power and the wealth there, because...
Yeah, because socialism does not just mean everyone divides everything equally. It means the government owns everything and then picks what to give to who. Dude, it's fucking evil shit. It really is. It is tyranny.
Know how much of a fantastic job that they do. I would take an anti-usury stance. Debt slavery, student loans, payday lending, and endless credit is a moral evil. People on the capitalist side of the fence should be calling for financial reform that actually stops exploitative lending, and one that's straight...
Look, man, that's what I have to say. Bible laws. Just straight up follow the laws of the Bible. Like, literally. Every time I say it, people roll their eyebrows, but think about it. All right, there's no interest, right? According to the Bible, there should not be interest, right? So, no interest. Loans disappear after 7 years. Think about it. Think about it. But it's a hyper-capitalist society where everything you own is yours, right? No property taxes. No fucking property taxes, no fucking sales taxes. That shit is absolute highway robbery. I have to pay the government for a house that I own? What is this shit? So again, I think hyper-capitalist society, certain social, again, man, what can I say? What can I say? God was right, it turns out.
Strengthens savings and ownership. The person on the capitalist side here should also support small business and family enterprise, farmers, craftsmen, entrepreneurs. This decentralizes wealth instead of concentrating it in mega corporations or bureaucracies. And lobbying groups.
That was just my opinion, by the way. You have every right to disagree.
Must be
I'd be disagreeing with, you know, I'm not like an economist. But you'd be arguing with God. I got God on my side. What the fuck are you gonna talk? All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get a little too. I like my opinions. I've noticed. You have every right to disagree, but my opinions are always right.
Targeted to stop them from puppeteering politicians for their interests.
Yeah, that shit's evil. Those guys all need to go to jail. Every single fucking person in the government, insider trading, taking money from fucking pharmaceutical companies that are pushing drugs on people, literally so they can poison themselves to need more drugs, to buy more drugs. Nah, that shit is evil fucking shit. Literally skin them, flay them, penis guillotine those motherfuckers.
And targeting low information voters. Or even better yet, suffrage should be drastically limited so that lobbying groups can't have access to these low information voters. And speaking of decentralization, a great example of this is the decentralization of information. Just this morning I was looking at
ground news.
What you've got to do is hit the... Let's get back to the video.
So I think the issue is the framing of incentive here. Incentive doesn't disappear in a socialist or a communist society.
Yes, it does. It literally does. In a communist society, everyone makes the same amount of money, whether you're a doctor or whether you fucking do anything else. All right? If you work at McDonald's and whether you're a doctor, you make the same amount of money. Why on earth? That's socialism, right? Everyone gets their let's say, $50,000 a year check, and that is what they got, no matter what you do. That's pure communism. Why would anyone be a doctor? Literally, why would anyone go to medical school for years and years and years of studying and training to become a doctor when a guy flipping burgers is making the same amount of money? Why the fuck would you do that? Of course. And why would you go out on a limb to create and invent and do all these things and innovate? You would never innovate if you just got your free $50K check. Even if you succeeded, you get your $50K check. And if you fail, you weren't working. So fuck you. So when you look at a world through that lens, it is so obvious that capitalism creates incentive. And you want to know the best evidence to this in the universe? America's fucking goated. You look at Russia, you look at China, you look at all these other countries. They have been relatively stagnant when it comes to innovation. Maybe not China so much, but the capitalist societies, like look at Japan versus China. Look at South Korea versus North Korea. The development of tech and innovation is on another level.
Just changes and evolves. So we see in capitalism the incentive is obviously monetary gain, maybe even collecting capital itself through land ownership. In a communist or a socialist country, you would see incentive would just evolve into, I know it's a vague term, but the common good.
Horse shit. Okay, I hate watching people with zero basis in basic ethics or morality talk about how common good is enough of an incentive to push all of society forward. You are retarded. They will rob you blind if they have the ability to do it. What are you talking about? There's thieves, there's murderers, there's mass rapes in half of Europe right now. Okay? There's looting that goes on every time something relatively innocuous happens in the media. Oh, St. Floyd was killed. All right, St. Floyd died, and they decided to loot Target. Okay? You're telling me that this is all for the moral good of society? It's such a load of bullshit. It's crazy. It's like actually divorced from reality. Oh, but the reason why they looted is because of capitalism. No, it's not. It's because they're fucking bastards. Those neighbors are guilty.
You have an incentive to do your chores around your house.
Look at fucking hippie McLarkin smiling over there. Come on, dude. It's like, yeah, it's common good. You're so right, sister. Sister and Gaia's Earth Tapestry. We are all connected. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be making fun of this guy just based on his looks. As someone that personally does judge books by their cover, though, this dude is a Gaia Tapestry fellow.
You don't want to live in a filthy house, right? That makes sense. It doesn't have to be just monetary.
Right.
So you don't...
That's so fucking retarded, though. It's so fucking retarded. Like, so do you think that everyone is just gonna go out and do their absolute best every day for the common good? Are you stupid? Oh, my lord. Yeah, no one's gonna sit at home and play video games if they just get free money. Absolutely not. They'd be going out to work at McDonald's for the common good. Like, literally divorced from reality, victim mentality, blaming the rich people, communist utopia. You're retarded.
think monetary incentive drives people, or you're saying that people should be excited to do their job, whether they're getting incentivized for it or not? That's what you're saying.
People will be incentivized to do.
Give me a case study. Give me a case study of that worked. Give me one.
We don't even need to look at case studies. We can just look at charity work.
Well,
all right, okay, so you're saying that people will just be incentivized based. Okay, give me an example. And there are no examples, but think about charity. Yeah, think about charity. You know who the biggest donors are? You know who the biggest people that give money to charity are? Religious people. Religious Christians is the biggest group of people that give money to charity. All right? It's religious people because the holy books say to give charity, and that's why they do it, because God told them to. All right? Why aren't all the gay theists giving as much charity as the Christians? Ever consider that? Well, obviously it's because, people that are, not basing their morality on some sort of objective truth have the right to decide whatever their morality subjectively is, and they subjectively decided to keep more money in their pockets.
Why don't we actually look at a case study? You got two countries, North Korea, South Korea.
There it is.
One is communism
True.
and one is capitalism.
Yeah.
Yes.
North Korea's GDP last year was $23 billion.
Are we judging countries' values based on GDP?
Oh my fucking god! So how do you judge it? So how do you judge it? Oh my god! It's such a whiny bitch mentality. It's like, are you literally defining it by the only metric we have to define things? We should be defining it by quality of life. Bro, I'm pretty sure the quality of life in North Korea is not that great.
That's because that's a job. Freedom of speech. You can't, if you lived in North Korea.
Yeah, basic freedom. North Korea's shit in every metric, okay? I'm glad you're saying the GDP is not enough. Every single metric would say that life as a peasant in North Korea is shit.
You wouldn't be able to do what you're doing right now. You wouldn't have a voice. In South Korea, I'm gonna give you stats. In South Korea, their GDP is $1.7 trillion.
South Korea is also owned by 5 companies in total in the entire
70
country.
times better
you think
than
that's
North
something
Korea.
to buy? If you are,
Will you shut up? He's talking. Oh my god, the disrespect. No wonder why you couldn't make it in business.
Employed by the top 5 countries. You are practically unemployed in these countries.
Do you like to be free?
I'm not going to be free in a country like South Korea where I'm only employed companies or no job.
I'm not going to be free in South Korea where I have to get a job. Damn, that's crazy.
Like me. Do you like to be free where you can have a strong opinion? Do you like to be free to have your
I like to be free, but that's why I'm anti-capitalist.
Well, maybe you are.
That is why.
Oh my god, these people are so retarded. Capitalism is literally a free system. It literally is a free system.
Removes that choice. There is
Capitalism removes the choice of freedom? Are you retarded? Bro, communism is literally taking away your choice. You're putting all the power in the hands of the few that are controlling society. They can control what you say, what you think, what you eat, how you sleep, how much money you make. They literally own you. All right? They own you. Capitalism is literally so free, people could be poor. The freedom to be poor if they don't get a job. That is capitalism.
Incentive of capitalism because the incentive is survival. When you get into communism, the incentive is for the common good.
I love that. I got
it. Common good. Oh my god, dude. And you think everyone is going to be doing the common good? Who's going to be the one to say, you know what? I am going to work at McDonald's for the common good. Yes. Yes.
I got an offer for you before we move on. If I were to give you your $2,350, which is the cost to renunciate your citizenship, and I paid you your first class, flight to
everyone's a communist until they have to move to a communist country.
Whatever communist country, and $20,000 of money.
Communist country.
Would you give up your citizenship?
Name me a communist country. True communism has never been tried yet. This is the strategy that they all do because on the way to try true communism, the communist regime kills 100 million people, so it never actually gets there. It's the little fucking. You see the smirk on her face. They all do the same shit.
Whichever communist.
Name a communist. None have ever tried true communism.
Country you want to go to? Cuba. We can give you Venezuela. We give you North Korea. Any one of those you want to go to. Choose any one of them. I'll give you one-way ticket and I'll fund it for you if you want to.
Okay, so this is the first offer that Patrick Bet-David makes throughout this video. And this is a fantastic strategy here because he's telling them to put their money where their mouth is.
True.
And he is putting his money where his mouth is.
So based. Honestly, so based. And apparently he offers another guy a job. Dude, unbelievably based. This is how you destroy every one of these mentalities.
Any of these communist countries, we will fly you out to.
Nah, but her thing was, I don't know, I've seen too many of these commies talking, and every single one yaps the same way. True communism has never been tried yet. That's literally what they all say. And it's so retarded because 100 million people die on the way to true communism. So yeah, I guess it never was tried yet. You're right, true. They massacred, they holocausted their own people before they got that far.
first class. I mean, it is communism that you are arguing for after all. And if you think that your version of communism will be the best and most moral and righteous one, well, so did Chairman Mao, so did Stalin, so did Pol Pot, and she North and South Korea there. And I've been to these places. Well, I've been to the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. And what she's talking about there with the big corporations is what's called the Kaibols or the Chibols, which is companies like LG and Samsung and Hyundai. Because the north of Korea has all of the agriculture, the South had to find a way to make their economy competitive. And so what they did was they put their support into these Chibol companies. And they employ huge amounts of the population.
And you know what? South Korea is a super successful country. And dude, you look at every capitalist society, and they all end up that way. I mean, I think that a really easy example to show you that this works and how communism is bullshit. Like if you look at Israel, Israel was reestablished as a state 75 years ago or whatever. It's already one of the tech giants in the world. It is already one of the biggest countries for startups on the planet. Like half the tech in your phone is made by Israeli companies, right? Google Maps is made by Israeli companies. Like it's crazy. Like and to think that it's because it's a hyper-aggressive, hyper-competitive capitalist society where they're competing to innovate, and that is literally what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Just gotta, I don't know, man. Communism is a way for everyone to die slowly.
Not as many as she said. It's about 10% of the nation's workforce. I mean, you can be a capitalist in South Korea if you want. You can start a company. There's lots of restaurants, lots of...
Working at a company is also being a capitalist. Starting a company is a big risk. It really is. Because if your company fails, you just spent millions of dollars and hours just down the toilet. Starting a company is a big risk. If you succeed, it's a big reward. But the amount of successful companies are a small percent. You can just start a company magically. There's a much easier path to actually make a living, and that is just getting a job at an already established company, right? If you become a computer programmer, you can be a computer programmer in any company that hires you. You're not taking the risk at starting a business that can go up in flame and leave you with nothing. And realistically, that is the risk you have to take if you want to start a company. Now, if you do succeed, you could succeed really well. Look at Patrick Ben-David. I'm pretty sure he did like an insurance company, and now he's worth $500 million, all right? Because he did an insurance company. Realistically, that's what we're talking about. That's why capitalism is amazing.
Oh,
but
my
these
God.
people are too brainwashed by their fucking communist libtard freaks, and that's why we got to bring McCarthyism back into Port Hassan Piker.
Retail stores and all of this. But it would have been interesting there to see Patrick Bet-David ask her a little bit more about her view on North and South Korea. And
she was interrupting him constantly. He didn't even have the opportunity.
Which society she actually thinks is better, because I have a feeling she may have said North. Anyway.
All the commies do this, by the way. That's why people like Hassan Piker and the other tankies, that's why they actually support Russia over Ukraine. Because, Russia's spreading communism ultimately, which is why they actually think Russia is a net positive, even though they're killing thousands of people. And that's why so many of these people will just go the Russia route. It's crazy.
Carry on.
I think incentives are exactly the fundamental problem with capitalism. Is that you say incentives are what...
Incentives are the problem of capitalism. I'm telling you, these people are retarded. Like, they're actually retarded. These are actual victim babies. Like, these are people that are just super entitled, ego-driven bitches.
Make it work, and I think that's the whole issue, is that the primary incentives are either greed, amass of as much personal wealth as you possibly can.
You think that's the problem? It's greed?
Yeah, exactly. And
like you're not greedy at all.
And like
socialism is greed. I really hate this bullshit. Obviously, you have greedy capitalists. You have these slimy, dirty, sniveling, conniving capitalists out there, okay? I'm not gonna make you believe even for a second that's not true. But socialism is a party designed based off greed, where you are taking money that other people earned and giving it to people that didn't earn that money. That is pure greed. Pure and utter greed. To feel entitled that my money that I earned, I need to pay taxes for it to go to you, who didn't earn that shit. You're the greedy one here.
You said survival, right? The person, working 5 jobs, that they're doing that so they wouldn't want to do that if they didn't need to survive. But that's such a horrible dystopian world.
These people are such feminine freaks, every single one of them. It's such a horrible worldview to need to work to live. Oh my God, it's so sad. Dude, stop being such a bitch. Start piloting your life with logic and not emotion. Unbelievable.
To live in. If someone has to work...
Throw his pearls on his hat so he could clutch them when things get too tough.
5 jobs just to survive.
How did they get
Is he really trying to appeal to emotion here? Like, what are you fucking doing?
How much of that is on their decision making? How much of that is on their doing? How much of that?
There are absolutely circumstances that are out of people's control. You know, someone gets into a terrible accident, they end up having horrible medical debts. They end up being disabled in some way that they're not able to work properly. They end up having a brain injury and they're not able to think properly, and therefore they can't get a job well. There are people who are born with issues, people that are born with diseases. You have people that have been born in single-family households. People that are born into debt. You have people that have abusive spouses that leave them, giving you much more of a workload. If you're also taking care of kids, there are an infinite amount of examples on a specific personal level where shit's tough. And that's why I believe we need a system like charity, you know, where people are getting charity. People can go to synagogues, churches, you know, their local community. That'll help them out with things like that. I do think that is super important. But that is one part. The other part is personal choices. So many people make bad choices. 90% of people in college made a bad choice. They went to college, they're in debt, and they're getting a degree in fucking lesbian tap dancing in Nicaragua. Those people are fucking retards, and they've been literally sold into a gigantic pyramid scheme.
That is on the market where they're not finding ways to improve themselves.
It doesn't matter how much onus is on the individual. We want to create
Yeah,
a
it does. What are you talking about?
No. See, we want to create
No, it doesn't. I don't know. No one should have responsibility for their decisions. We should just get shit for free.
Based retard.
This is on
in
you.
which people don't have to earn their right to exist.
No, you have the right to exist, but you have the right to exist. You just don't have the right to have money. You'll die if you don't have money, which sucks, obviously, but that's not a right. The only right you have is free will, okay? Other than that, you have no rights. Rights are an illusion. Rights aren't a real thing. These people need to wake up, get out of the Lulu land, and welcome to reality. I don't know what's going on. Why do we have a generation of weak-ass bitches, and who designed that shit?
Okay, so here's the key word here. When he says we want to create a world where people don't have to earn their rights, their right to
entitlement
live,
bullshit.
their right to healthcare, their right to, you can extrapolate it further and further and further. You shouldn't have to earn this. You should get all of these things from just existing. And this is where you kind of realize that you're not really speaking to a sober-minded individual.
This is not a normal adult. This is not a man. This is literally emotional bullshit.
Is based in reality. You're speaking to somebody who is actually based in ideals and fairy tales and kumbaya.
True.
But you could probably tell that by the hat. But not to harp on the hat, let's carry on.
We live in a country where majority of the
I gotta
world
see the
wants to
hat.
come here.
Such a good argument. Such a good fucking argument.
Most important citizenship country is America.
Yeah, why?
Right.
People give up their lives to come here.
Yeah, why?
Have you ever lived in another country before?
No, not lived, no.
Why do you think so many want to come here?
I think the people coming here are coming from gang-ridden, corruption-ridden, violent...
Yeah, law and order is important, I guess. Or something.
You think that's just all it is? You think I came from a gang ridden in Iran? I lived there 11 years.
I think the majority of... certainly coming from South
Most
America.
people come here because what you're doing to me, you're sitting across from me right now.
Right.
Millions of people are going to watch this. In America, you can call me out. You can say whatever you want.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen.
Right.
You're free and safe here, right?
Sure. Freedom of speech is
you
not
can
equal to
Iran,
that.
of course it is. There's a lot of elements with America. You're talking incentive. The amount of benefits America offers against other countries, it's so much higher. Where somebody with big dreams, incentives, they're willing to come and say, I want to come to America, please let me in. And some come and take advantage of it.
True.
But to say the individual that's working 3 to 5 jobs, if you do that for a season, if you do that for 2 years, if you do that for 5 years, fine.
cooking.
If you do that for 20, 30 years, you're doing something wrong.
Just a quick
I agree. I actually agree with that. You are doing something wrong if it's taking you so many years and you literally can't get on your feet. I mean, obviously, there's luck, there's fate. You got every argument in the universe. There's circumstance, but vast majority of cases, come on, dude.
Eruption, guys, do not forget to smash that like button. Get this message out far and wide.
Yes, I will be linking this in the description, obviously. Also, definitely up those numbers. Subscribe to me, too. We do retard breakdowns on this channel. We find the retards, and we tear them to shreds because they deserve it, because they're retards. They were born that way. It's my right to make fun of retards, all right? You have your rights, I have mine.
Especially if you're enjoying the video, and also...
You have the right to exist, I have the right to make fun of you for existing. Listen, it's a good relationship that we have, me and the retards.
If you haven't hit subscribe, what are you doing? Let's get back to it.
But the point is, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Those are the inalienable...
Is that really the point of life? Hippie McGee? Happiness and the pursuit of happiness? What about giving to your fellow man? What about that? That was the last 6 bitches that came on to debate this guy we're talking about. Like, I love that this dude figured it all out.
rights. We shouldn't have to earn those rights. We shouldn't have to earn the right to health care.
You do have to earn it.
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, I do. You don't have any rights. Rights don't exist. Rights aren't a real thing. The rights are made up. My incredibly hot take for you guys is rights are not real. Rights are an illusion. The right of free speech, you don't have the right to free speech. America lets you have free speech. All right, there's no such thing as rights. The only right you have is freedom of decision. That's the only thing you got. Free will is your only right. Other than that, you got nothing. You got fucking nothing. The retards. Life would be so boring without the retards.
Earn the right? No. Because
Because
we just want to live, exist.
You are such a selfish person. Okay, it's so selfish. It's so unbelievably selfish. Do these people even understand how selfish they are when they say shit like this? We just want to exist! So therefore you have to give me the money that you earn. Like, holy shit, bro.
We can't work our...
I feel like I'm the only guy that does this, okay? I know a lot of people, like, break up debates and talk about debates, but I feel like I'm the only person that actually calls these cretins for what they are. I don't know if people are scared of getting canceled or some shit, but this is retarded. I have to sit here and listen to these bitches moan and cry about how I actually have to work for a living. Like, what the fuck is this?
Our blood, sweat, and tears just to survive. That's a horrible dystopian world that we live in, right?
It is literally not, all right? This is the utopia compared to the past, where people were literally starving. Like, hello? There were literally people dying of hunger in almost every generation of humanity until now, okay? There is not one American dying of hunger. It doesn't exist. It literally doesn't exist. Okay? It's not a real thing. There is an obesity crisis. There is not a hunger crisis in America. Okay? Stop with this fucking bullshitting.
Well, then what do you think we're here for? To just sit around and play video games?
We're
here for? To sit around and watch TV shows? To sit and watch cat videos?
We are here to create a prosperous community to lift every...
And how are people gonna do this if they're sitting at home and jerking it all day? Which, let's be real, everyone will sit at home with an AI girlfriend and a free paycheck comes in because everyone's living in a socialist utopia? Like, what the shit is happening?
Prosperous community. How do you create a prosperous community? Matter of fact, for you, how have you positively impacted a community?
I guess volunteering, food banks.
I appreciate you for doing that. Have you created jobs for others?
Created jobs? No, I wouldn't say so.
Why have you not?
Uh-oh.
I haven't had the ability to do so.
Do you think it's easy or do you think it's hard?
To create jobs is probably hard, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank God for capitalists, am I right? You get millions of employees in Walmart, millions of employees in Starbucks, millions of employees in Microsoft and in Apple. Now, you could say that the people that are running these companies are gigantic, greedy fucks, and they probably are, but millions of people could put bread on the table because of them. And here you are, shaming them for not contributing, while you are probably knitting fucking drapes for your RV.
Okay, so the people that create jobs, you think they should have a little bit of incentive for having risked their life savings, spend time away their families to create jobs so somebody like you can work for that company?
Sure, but that is
the incentive.
And bravo for them, but that does not give them the right to pay themselves $2 million bonuses.
The right? Wait. You're sitting here saying that literally every person on the planet deserves all these rights. The right to everything free because we exist and we shouldn't work. But the people that are actually pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into building millions of jobs, they don't have the right to decide what to do with the money that they are generating? Dude, these people are so divorced from basic reality and morality. Find God.
But
their workers are scraping by.
You don't get to choose how much money I choose to make. That's not your business. That's my business.
Exactly. You do not get to choose what the highly industrious and creative people get to pay themselves. And look,
these people be like, my body, my choice. I'm gonna murder my baby. But also, you don't have the right to decide how much money you make from your own company. Like, what are we fucking doing?
When you're talking about monopolies, the upper echelon, I understand there's a different conversation to be had there. But these people aren't talking about those guys. They're talking about millionaires. They're talking about people who are small business owners. They think that they should have to redistribute their wealth. No, thank you. Creating jobs, like he said, is...
Dude, every socialist, look at Bernie Sanders, right? Bernie Sanders is going out there saying, there should be no millionaires. No millionaires. Millionaires, they're all bad. Then he became a millionaire. Now he's only going after the billionaires. Pretty weird, huh?
Not easy. It comes with a lot of risks and liabilities, and it all falls on the business owner.
And lawsuits. Right? Risks, liabilities, lawsuits. Like, dude, there's so much. There really is. Like, dude, I'm a big fan of capitalism myself.
Things go wrong, it's not going to be the employees that deal with the bankruptcy or the legal problems. It's the owner. So if you want to take the big risk, you should get the big reward. And so the next one here is another good example of PPD putting his money where his mouth is and really getting it beneath the surface of their talking points. So basically, I'll summarize it for you guys. This lady says something along the lines of yap, 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 rich man bad, capitalist mean, socialism good, rich man bad. And the way that Patrick handles this is very telling.
I want to say that I think it's pretty comical that an elite such as yourself has
an elite. Who decides who the elites are? This dude worked for everything.
The goal to tell us average Americans who's in poverty and who's not.
Excuse me. Did you decide to come to this debate knowing that you were going up against some capitalism guy? Yes? Shut